Hello, this will be a demonstration of proposition 16 from book 5 of Euclid's Elements, which says that if four magnitudes be proportional, they will be proportional alternately. What that's going to look like is if you go back to definition 512, you have the definition of an alternate ratio, and what that's going to look like is if you have four magnitudes that are proportional, you have the antecedent to the antecedent, and then the consequent to the consequent. So that's going to look like here. So we're going to have four magnitudes, A, B, C, and D. And what we're going to prove is that A is to C just as B is to D. Right? So we take the two antecedents, A to C, put them in a ratio, and we're going to prove that they are in the same ratio as the consequents put together in a ratio. And the consequents here are obviously B and D. So again, what we're going to prove is that A is to C just as B is to D. Okay. We're going to begin by taking equal multiples, E and F, of A and B respectively, so that the multiple that E is of A, F will be of B. And also, we're going to take other equal multiples, G and H, of C and D respectively, so that the multiple that G is of C, H will be of D. Now, knowing that E and F are equal multiples of A and B, we can use proposition 515, that parts have the same ratio to each other as their equal multiples, to say that A is to B just as E is to F, right? Because E is the same multiple of A, that F is of B. So we can do this with 515, that A is to B just as E is to F. But we were given that A is to B just as C is to D, which means by proposition 511, that ratios which are the same to the same ratio are the same with one another. We can then say that C is to D just as E is to F. So substituting this A to B with C to D. Again, knowing that G and H are equal multiples of C and D respectively, we can again use proposition 515, that parts have the same ratio to each other as their equal multiples, to say that C is to D just as G is to H. And again, by using 511, because C is to D just as E is to F, we know that E is to F just as G is to H. Which means that by proposition 514, that if four magnitudes be proportional, if the first be greater than the third, the second will be greater than the fourth, and if equal, equal, and if less, less. We know that if E is greater than G, F will be greater than H. If E be equal to G, F will be equal to H. And if E be less than G, F will be less than H. Again, that's proposition 514. But we know that E and F are equal multiples of A and B respectively, and also G and H are equal multiples of C and D respectively, which means by using definition 5.5, the definition of proportionality, because these equal multiples have this situation, have these relationships, we can then say that A is to C just as B is to D. And this is what we set out to do, which means we are done with the proposition, therefore, etc., Q, E, D. Got nothing to say to this proposition other than this is another very useful proposition that's going to come up a lot. So like 5.7, 5.9, and 5.11, 5.16 should be another one that you just know. Other than that, got nothing to say about this proposition, so end the video here and move on to 5.17.